Welcome to Cbse Economics Academy. Today we will be starting with class 12 syllabus of introductory macroeconomics. Now today we are starting with the series Mission Cbse. So we will be focusing on class 12 boards 2025 circular flow of income. It is also a cycle of production and generation and distribution of income, right? Okay, now what is macroeconomics? So in class 11 we studied microeconomics, which meant the study of a individual unit or market, right? Now in macroeconomics we study the behavior of the aggregates as a whole. That means if we were studying about a factory in microeconomics, if we are studying about a cement factory in microeconomics, now we would be studying about the whole industry of cement as a whole, right? So in macro we deal with the aggregates, right? In micro we are dealing with individual demand and market demand, individual supply, etc. Now we'll be dealing with aggregate demand and aggregate supply. So that is macroeconomics for you all, and I hope you all know the differences between micro and macroeconomics, because we have done it already in class 11 as well. So what is circular flow of income? Now let me tell you slowly. It is a cycle, of course, okay? Cycle of what? Of generation of income. Cycle of generation of income. Where do we generate income? In the production process. So income is generated through production, right? Without production we cannot generate the income, right? So in the production process income is generated. Then once the income is generated, the factors of production like land, labor, capital, entrepreneurs, enterprises, whatever name you want to give, those are the factors of production which are the inputs that is used in the process of production, right? So once the production process gets over, we distribute it among whom? Among the factors of production. Then finally, once the factors of production are distributed with the income, then with the money that they have, they buy goods and services produced in the firm. So circular flow of income is cycle of generation of income in the production process, its distribution among the factors of production, and finally its circulation from household to firms in the form of consumption expenditure on the goods and services produced by them, right? So I've already discussed what circular flow of income is. Now there are three phases that you have to remember that's there in the circular flow of income, right? The three phases of circular flow of income are production phase, income phase, and expenditure phase. What are the three phases? Production, income, and expenditure, or generation, distribution, and disposition. Okay, generation is the production phase where you generate the income. Once the income is generated through the production process, the income is generated and it's distributed among the factors of production. So distribution of income, right? And once the income is received by the household, now what do you call something that you possess and now that you have given off? What do you call that? That's called disposition, right? We possess and we dispose, right? So once the income is generated and distributed among the factors of production, the generated income is disposed through in the form of consumption expenditure, because households needs to buy goods and services, right? So they buy goods and services. Through that they dispose their income, right? And next concept before we jump into circular flow of income is stock variable and flow variable, right? What is stock variable? Stock variable is any variable that is measured at a point of time. The name itself suggests. For example, the units of good on the go down at particular date, that is 25th January or 24th January, right? What is the flow variable? Flow variable is the variable which we measure it over a period of time. For example, number of births in the year 2023, national income of India in 2023, right? Number of houses constructed in the year 2023. Now, number of house as on December, or number of house constructed as on December 24th will be a stock variable. But number of houses constructed over the year, that is 2023, is flow income, right? In the book also they have given a wonderful example of a water tank, right? The water present in the water tank at a particular point of time is a stock variable, and the water that goes into the tank from the tap over a period of time, that is per unit of time, is a flow variable. All right, now we will be focusing on real flow and money flow, and after that we'll see what are the sectors of an economy, what are the important sectors of an economy, like household, firms, government and rest of the world. So we'll be focusing on this money flow and real flow and the four sectors of an economy. After having done that, we will do circular flow of income in simple economy and also circular flow of income along with the inclusion of financial institution or financial market. Now we will understand as to what the sectors of economy are. There are four sectors of economy broadly. Okay, so we'll look into each before we go into circular flow of income in two sector economy or simple economy. So first is household, then it is firms, then it is government, then it is rest of the world or foreign sector. So what household is? Household is the consumer of goods and services, as we all know, and it is also the owner of factors of production who supplies the land, labor, capital, enterprises that are factor services to the firms, right? And what are firms? Firms includes all the producing firms in the economy. It hires the factors of production from household to produce goods and services. So, you know, it's a very simple equation. Household is the owner of factors of production. The factors of production or the factor services is used by the firms to produce goods and services. And what are the roles of the government? Government plays two roles, right? One is that of a welfare agency, that is without the objective of profit or anything. Government provides law and order, government provides defense, etc. Okay, so that is the first role of the government, is the welfare objective. The second role of the government is producer. We have lots of, government enterprises, okay, which also look after the profit, which also works with the objective of profit, right? So government has two capacities. Then we have foreign sector or the rest of the world, right? So foreign sector or rest of the world means transactions, all the transactions with the world, with the rest of the world, right? It includes exports and imports of goods. It also includes flow of capital from a domestic country to the foreign country and the foreign country to domestic country. So the flow of capital, the export and import of goods, those and all are included in the foreign sector or the rest of the world. Alright, now we will do circular flow of income, alright, in a two-sector economy or simple economy. Alright, so now we have types of circular flow, right? Now there are two types of circular flow, that's real flow and money flow, right? Real flow means all the physical flows, right? Just like anything that is tangible, without the inclusion of money. It's just the flow of factor services from household to firms and goods and services from from firms to household. Okay, let me repeat. Factor services flow from household to firms, and from firms there is a flow of goods and services. That physical flow is known as real flow, where the involvement of money is not there. The next is money flow, where there is only involvement of money transaction, that is either in the form of factor payments for the factor services provided in the form of wage, rent, interest, profit, or it would be from household to firms by buying the goods and services, that is through consumption expenditure. So real flow is factor services and goods and services, right? And money flow is factor payment and consumption expenditure, where money is involved. It's very easy, right? So I have made a diagram also here, wherein this shows the real flow, that is flow of factor services from household to firms, and from firms to household there is a flow of goods and services. In a similar way, there is flow of consumption expenditure, flow of consumption expenditure from household to firms, and firms to household there is a flow of factor payment in the form of wage, rent, interest, profit, etc. Okay, so that's pretty much what real flow and money flow is. Now we'll look at the assumptions, basic assumptions that we need before we start circular flow of income in two-sector economy or the simple economy, right? Now, first assumption is that neither the household nor the firms are saving anything, right? So it's so unrealistic, but we assume this, that neither of the sector is having any saving. The second criteria is that household supplies all its factor services only to the firms, and firms hire only from household. Firm has factor services only from household. The other one is that entire goods and services sold to household. The firm sells entirety of its goods and services to household alone, and households also spend entire of their income. Household also spends entirety of their income in buying goods and services produced by the firms. So they are spending entire income. So there is no savings. Whatever comes goes back in the economy. So the flow continues. Okay, there is no disruption in the flow as such. Now we will continue with circular flow of income in a two-sector economy or simple economy. So there are four sectors as we have already discussed, that is household, firms, government and rest of the world. But here we are only considering two sectors and we have already seen the assumptions, right? Now, what is the household supply? Households first supply the factor services to the firms, right, which is used in the production process. Factor services in the form of land, labor, capital, enterprises, they supply the factor services, okay? So this is all used in the production process through which production is done, right? For the factor services, the firms pay factor payments to the household in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit. Right? Now, what does household do then? They receive the income. As we know, entirety of the income is spent on buying goods and services produced by the firms. So the firms produce goods and services. The household, right, spends entire of its income on consumption expenditure on goods and services, and firms, they supply the goods and services to the household. So in this way, there is no saving, right? Whatever is earned by the household is spent back, and entirety of the factor services is only given to the firms. Firm also hires only from them. Firms also sells all their goods and services only to the household. So these are the basic assumptions, and from this we can see there is a circular flow, right? There is no disruption in the flow. Okay, so this is a circular flow of income in two-sector economy. Now, if we include financial sector here or financial market, now what happens is that the assumptions will change a bit. Now, what is added is that household and firms, they save. Firms also save. Right? Firms and households both borrow as well. If we take out the assumption that entirety of the income of household is spent on goods and services, right, then the household will start saving. In the same way, firms will also save. Firms will also borrow, right? That is investment. Alright? So once the financial market or a financial institution comes in, then there will be mobilizing of the fund. There will be mobilization of the saving. There will be saving, right? It will be more realistic. Alright? So this is a circular flow of income in a two-sector economy or simple economy. This brings us into this first chapter of circular flow of income, right? Now we will continue with the second chapter in the next episode. Stay tuned. Please like, subscribe and support this humble effort. And with that request and with that humility, we'll see you again in the next episode. Thank you. Namaskar.